I didn't understand why they did it at first. I probably still don't. I used to live on a farm on Shaanxi. Me and my mate, Gen, were bought to work there. It was a Sliv couple. I thought they treated us right. They gave us food and shelter. They even gave us one of their old vid boxes for our room occasionally. We were treated better than most Garths. It was a good life. Then I saw on the news the council made contact with a new species. I thought they looked like furless Yamag when I first saw them, only a lot bigger. Humans, they called themselves. First contact is fairly rare, but most people have seen at least one in their lifespan. I was there when the Platorax joined, so I knew what was coming. They needed to build working translators, establish currency exchanges, and connect them to the extranet before the humans could properly interact with the rest of the galaxy. The whole process took at least 3 cycles, but it still wouldn't be perfect until about 30 or 40 cycles. Anyway, the strange things didn't start happening until about 4 cycles later, when the first human world was connected to the extranet. I was lying down on my bed, with Gen tending to my body. I had accidentally left the gates open, and one of the Trang ran out onto the road. You can guess what happened next. My masters punished me, which I probably deserved. Trang are expensive to grow. Anyway, that was when I saw it on the news. The humans had read about servitude on the extranet, and they were mad. Very mad. Madder than my masters. Maybe they never had servitude on their homeworld, but they wanted their own Garth. Well, it's a bit self-entitled to expect people to give them Garths. They started shouting at the council meetings. Hundreds of humans traveled to the capital and angry about something. At the time, I thought they were being ungrateful. The council had opened up to them, and they spit in the council's face. It was strange. Things started escalating after that. The humans began threatening violence. I still didn't understand why they didn't just buy Garths. The council shrugged, of course. These humans couldn't beat the masters. The council had always been there. Soon, my mate was carrying child. We began to worry. If the masters found out, they would kill her. I didn't know what to do. We decided to hide it, but in about a cycle it was going to become obvious. That's when the humans began their war. They started fighting against the council, targeting servitude centers and stealing the Garths. Did they want us for themselves, I wondered. They were showing footage of a taken servitude center. The press were allowed in. The translators were still buggy, but I could understand most of it. Most of it was talking about things like rights and equals. Garths weren't allowed to go to school, so I couldn't understand, but I knew that equals was a maths thing. And then he said something. He directed it at Garths everywhere. It translated perfectly, but I didn't understand the meaning at the time. We are all born free and equal. I figured it didn't matter anyway. The humans would likely be destroyed by the council. I was wrong. I didn't know this at the time, but the humans grew up on war. There was always war on their world. and it didn't end until hundreds of cycles after they left their solar system. War was all they knew until the peace era, as they called it. I guess that's why they decided to fight. Doing nothing was alien to them. I suppose going to war must have felt like coming home. Of course, I didn't know this at the time, so when it was shown that the humans were managing to survive. Not only that, in the footage it looked like some Garth were fighting with them. I couldn't believe my eyes. This wasn't good news, and it only added to the stress of my mate. We still didn't know what we would do. Didn't matter, because they found out anyway. I thanked the humans for what happened next. I didn't really understand it, but them freeing servitude centers meant that my mate was more valuable, so they spared her life. Instead, they would keep her and sell the child. We were happy that we were spared. Then the humans began winning. They pushed their way into the central planets, and even made it onto Zhangzi. I saw their drop pods. It was like the stars were falling from the sky. Me, my mate, and our masters all hid underground when we saw them coming. We tried to keep as quiet as we could in case they found us, but it didn't help. They found us anyway. When they marched down the stairs with their weapons, they looked like the beasts in the stories my mother told back at the servitude centers. Their bodies were black all over. You couldn't see their faces. You couldn't tell where the weapon ended and the body began. They were not the same humans that I saw on the vidbox. One of my masters grabbed me, forced me in front of him. He started shouting, "Stay back! Stay back, or I swear I'll cut him." The humans stared at me, probably waiting for their translators. Then they looked at each other and nodded. A bright flash came from the end of one of their weapon hands, and the noise almost deafened me. My master dropped to the floor, while my other master shrieked, which I thought would definitely deafen me. One of the humans grabbed my master and took her away. The other began walking towards me. I stepped back, not knowing what he would do. That was when my mate started screaming. All the stress I'd cut up to her and to our child. It's been 10 cycles since that day. The humans won their war, evicted the head of the council, put themselves on top, and rewrote a whole bunch of laws banning servitude. They added clinics which helped Garths re-enter society. They taught me how to do maths, among other useful things. I get paid for my work now, and I can use it to buy nice things for my mate. I still don't understand why they went out of their way to help us, why they sacrificed so many of their kind to end something that had been going on for so long that no one minded it. But after watching my daughter go for her first day of school, I think I'm coming close to understanding.